Okay, I got the head off. Relatively easy, but as you can tell, most of the bolts literally took nothing to break. I mean, there was nothing there. They broke fairly easy. As you can see, it's soaked around here and around here. So, I mean, the entire head here was leaking. He didn't torque it down to 32 pounds like it was supposed to be. If you look along here, you see where the water was leaking, especially around here, because you can tell. This should be compressed, like right here. Instead, it is puffed up like it was sitting in water for a long period of time, like right here. See how soft it is? And it's like that along the whole bottom edge. These 4 bolts here took nothing to break loose. Literally, one broke loose just by me putting the wrench on it. Okay, on top of that, be nice to this head, you have to remove these. You have to remove the rocker arms. Okay, keep them in order as to the head. Okay, just like the head bolts. These are the upper, these are lower. You want to make sure everything gets, I bought new head bolts, but you still want to keep them in order, because when you break out the new ones, you can put them in the same way you took them out. Make sure you torque them down completely. Once you get them torqued down, leave it overnight. Come back to torque it again. Do not just slap it all together. Yes, you can retorque them after the fact. The problem is, by then you have the intake on and all that, and it's not the same. So make sure you retorque before you put everything back on. The reason why I say torque them is because, like anything else, you compress it, given time, it will kind of settle in. So you come back one more time, even if it's a couple hours later. I mean, you could wait 4 or 5 hours, come back, re-snug them. Some will tighten a little bit, some won't move at all, and that's fine. I got a number of torque wrenches. I'm going to use my trusty old style torque wrench here. It's the old style arm torque wrench with the pointer. This thing has never failed me, and I have put together so many engines, and this thing has worked extremely well. I do have an old clicker. I've never really trusted it because I've snapped bolts off with it. The other one, not one. I never snapped a bolt off with it. So, main thing is keeping everything in order. Now, by the time I put these back in, they'll be all cleaned and stuff, ready to go. And you want to make sure you don't want to hit it with anything. So remember, all this stuff is aluminum. So you use too sharp an implement or an implement that has an imperfection, it'll scratch the hell out of it. Okay, you don't want to scratch the surfaces. You don't want to leave divots. You leave divots, it's probably going to leak. So you don't want to do that. I'm going to prepare to take the back head off. I got that all loosened. There was actually an exhaust bolt missing as well. So what I will be doing is using one of my other exhaust bolts there to replace the one that was missing in the back, and I'll go buy a new one for the front. We want to make sure this thing is complete when we put it back together. We don't want, exhaust leaks and all this other crap. So, and there are torque specs for every part of this engine. Alright, try and stay to them. I mean, honest to God, it took more to loosen up the valve covers than it did to loosen up the head. And I'm not even kidding. So, the valve covers are usually only about 8 pounds at most. I mean, that's barely past good and tight. Alright, so, and the main thing is, even with the valve covers, is make sure you tighten them equally. Because if you don't, you will get leaks. Alright, so we're going to carry on. Alright, I'm going to do some cleaning as well. As you can see, there's a lot of dirt and grime where everything was leaking and stuff, so we're going to try and get everything cleaned up a bit too. We're not looking for perfection, but basic cleanliness is good. Get the water out of the pistons and stuff. You could use a little carb cleaner on the pistons, get a little carbon off. But you know what? it's not going to hurt to leave it there either. Just get them basically clean. Alright, we're going to continue on.